What's up guys, I'm PawsBuild and welcome to this Jurassic World Evolution 2 series where we aim to create a safe and thriving dinosaur park despite our corporate overlords denying us a bunch of safety equipment that they think is unnecessary expense. That means we're only allowed to use level 1 fencing for the entire park and can only have a maximum shelter coverage of 50%. What's more, for every cute little herbivore species we have in the park, we need 2 carnivore species that see our guests as nothing more than a light lunch. This park is in sandbox mode, but with all the economy and research settings turned on, so we'll have to build a park from the ground up that functions properly and brings in enough money to sustain itself. We're also allowed to genetically modify our dinosaurs as much as we want, provided their genome is 100% synthesized. Details of the sandbox settings are in the description. The question now is, will we create a safe and exciting new dinosaur park, or will the dinosaurs claim the park for themselves? And this is where we're gonna build our incredibly dangerous dinosaur park. So our guests can be in what is kind of like a clearing in the snowy mountains, and just be completely surrounded by forest, because that's not scary at all. That's not the start of a horror film. Now, the first thing you need to do when you build any dinosaur park is make an entrance to the park. Everyone knows that. And what we want to do is go into operations and then pick one of the arrival points. Now, there's 3 to choose from. This one is kind of like I guess a tunnel entrance. The guests just somehow like appear from this point, which doesn't make much sense to me. Or we have 2 helicopter entrances, that makes a bit more sense. It's a bit bougie, but at least it's within the realms of reality. And this is by far the most theme park. This is very corporate, so let's go for the classic Jurassic Park themed entrance. Let's grab this, and I kind of want to whack this in the middle of this space and have the guests arrive in the center of the park, because I think that's quite cool. So let's plop this down around here. And now this is down, if we hit play, it will build in. And in 30 seconds, we'll have ourselves an arrival point. But that's not the only building we need. We also need to get ourselves a control center. And this building is like the head of operations, and by far the coolest one, I think. That's not just the visitor center from Jurassic Park. That is probably the coolest one. But I think this is pretty cool because it still looks like it's official and this is staff only, but it's themed, and you're at a theme park. Come on, guys. This is a park after all. We don't want something like this. It's just an office building. We want something cool. So let's go for this. And I'm going to build us a nice staff area to one side. I'm thinking maybe let's go over here. This is quite far away, but I like the idea of having a staff center away from the rest of the guests in the park. Let's have a building right about here. This is going to be the center of our staff area, or at least the entrance to our staff area. Now we need a couple more staff buildings. We're going to need a science center to get scientists and extract DNA from fossils so we can make our dinosaur eggs. And out of these, I kind of like this one with the massive genetic code on the side. So I'm going to grab this one. And what I'm doing is I've hit shift so that when I press Z and X, the building kind of snaps to these angles. If you hit shift again, it kind of just it turns freely, but I like everything on a grid, so I'm gonna build on a grid. I'm gonna whack the science building here. Now, although it does say we built 1, the max per level is 1, and we have 1, in our sandbox settings we are able to place more, but they're just purely decorative, and I think that's a more fun way to do it, because you only need 1 for the game to function, but it makes sense that there might be multiple buildings in a science complex rather than just 1 science center. The other staff building we desperately need is an expedition center, and whilst the science center extracts DNA from fossils, the expedition center actually finds those fossils. So let's grab one of these. I think this one's pretty cute. Let's grab this one and put it down here. Seems reasonable to me. Now we can use the facility pass to join up all these buildings, which is what we're getting alerts for right now. Okay, and these need to be joined up to our entrance all the way over here. So what I'm going to do is build a little main street path down here. And then we can join this up with a facility path all the way along here, which is quite a long way. There we go. Massive walk for the staff when they first get here on their start of their shift. I hope that they live here, because that is quite a walk to leave every day. Now, the next thing we need to do to properly hook up our staff area is to get some power. And for now, we do want to unlock proper power, but we only have these backup generators. So I'm going to grab a backup generator and whack it in somewhere where it can get reach of these buildings. I think this is probably good here. Let's put it in there. And this is going to power the whole section over here. There we go. Already powered. Now we have access to these buildings. So let's get ourselves a team of scientists. And these guys are the lifeblood of our park. They do basically everything for us. And you can see they have 3 different skills. They've got logistics, genetics, and welfare. Now, the logistics skill is pretty much used for gathering fossils from the world, as well as making improvements to your park, like new buildings and like staff centers and things like that. Whereas the genetics skill is used to genetically modify your dinosaurs and to synthesize eggs. And the welfare skill is used to incubate those eggs and breed them to be adult dinosaurs, as well as to treat any sick dinosaurs you have in your park. So you need all 3 skills in the park. And ideally, I like to get someone that's good at each of them. I'd like to get 3 scientists if possible. And you can see none of the scientists are exactly the same. They all have different levels of each skill, as well as having a different trait. Now, the trait is kind of like a special power that scientist has. And these can actually be really good. So you want to consider this as well as the skill of each scientist in each area. Now, I do like the first scientist we have here because his trait is generalist, which improves his skill abilities by 1 without him being like much more expensive, because this is kind of the skill level you'd expect of a level 2 scientist, not a level 1. So I think he's probably great for us at the start of our journey in this park. Plus, he likes old clocks, so you know, he's not going to sabotage us. He seems like a nice guy. Let's recruit him. You'll also notice that there's a recruitment cost and an ongoing training cost. Now, this is basically their salary. This is the ongoing cost per minute of having the scientist. So I don't really know is this just a bribe that we give them when they join? This is a one-off payment. So I'm assuming they know that the park is dangerous and we're giving him like $250,000 just to be like, all right, we'll give you this in cash. Don't tell anyone that you work here, okay? That it's absolutely safe. Why would you be worried about working here? No, it's fine. So we've hired him. Now, we've got Lawler. Let's have a look at who else we want. They were quite good at welfare, so we kind of want to get a logistics person and a genetics person, if possible. You can see here, Amelia Tanner is really good at everything, and they have motivated. So you can do more with them before you need to rest them. But they're so expensive. Like, these hiring costs are crazy, and we just can't afford that right now at the start of our park. I don't think we could afford to do that. So we want to go for someone a little bit cheaper if possible. I'm thinking this one here is pretty good because they have an altruistic salary. Their salary is divided by 50%, as well as that like hiring cost at the start. So they could be pretty good. They're really cheap as an ongoing cost. And they've got 3 genetic skill, which is good. So let's get them. Unfortunately, no one is particularly good at logistics, which is slightly annoying. I'd had hoped for like a level 3 person, but we're going to have to settle for a level 2, I think. And Rebecca Newland over here at least has the potential for 5 logistics skill in the future, and she reduces the cost of our expeditions by 30%. So I think she's probably pretty good. Plus, she's got a great singing voice. She used to sing in the school choir, so that's a reason to hire someone if nothing else is. Right now, we've got 5 logistics skill, 6 genetics skill, and 4 welfare skill. That's probably okay. Let's see how we go, and if we want to get anyone else going forward. But the main thing that's going to determine that is what fossils are we going to get? What dinosaurs are we going to get? So on the expedition map, you can see dinosaurs we've unlocked already. And I'm actually going to filter this by carnivores because they're the ones we're interested in right now. We can't get this one because we need 6 logistics skill. And we need 6 logistics skill for this one also. So I think we're going to need someone else with some more logistics skill. Who have we got? We've got 2 with 2. So yeah, if we had another scientist with 2 logistics skill, that would mean that we had 6 overall and we'd be fine. Oh, and Eric Smith, the new guy, may be the one for us. He's really cheap and he's got logistics level 2. He can have 5 in the future. Plus, he also decreases the task time by 50% for expeditions. So Rebecca's going to make it cheaper and Eric is going to make it quicker. I think this is a good way to go. Let's recruit him. Now we should have 6 and we're able to get these guys. Yeah, they've gone yellow. Now we can choose from the Deinonychus, I believe that is, or the Majungasaurus. I think the Majungasaurus is massive and the Deinonychus is much smaller, so I'm tempted to go for them. Although the expeditions are way more expensive for these guys than they are for the Majungasaurus. Maybe we'll go for the big ones straight out the gate. Let's get the Majungasaurus. Plus, you know, they're fun, they're huge, aren't they? Let's grab our expedition scientist and the generalist and send them out together. See, that's really cheap with our discount as well. We're getting a 30% discount on the price and a 50% discount on the time. That's amazing. Right, they're going to go out and get some fossils for us. And while they're doing that, maybe we should decorate up our entrance because this is kind of depressing. I'm planning on adding a couple more arrival points in here, and I would like to make a little bit of a park. So there's a bit of a nature scene when they enter the park. I think that's cute, and I would enjoy that as a guest myself. So I think that's a good plan. That's what I'm going to do. Let's build that in with some standard paths and some trees. There we go. I think that's a bit cuter, isn't it? To have a bit of a forest when guests arrive. And they've got 6 arrival points now, so it's a bit more realistic that you've got 6 helicopters arriving rather than everyone arriving from 1 helicopter. Now, our expedition is back, so let's go to the fossil screen. And you can see we've got a fossil that we can sell. So let's sell this for $40,000. I'll have that back. And then we've got some kind of meh fossils. So there's 3 different tiers of fossils. This ready one is the lowest, and this grey one is the middle one. We haven't got any proper like amber that we've found, so it's not as good, but we can still get 58% of the genome for the Majungasaurus with just this. So let's do that. Let's assign a scientist. If we get Alvarez on it, he can do it on his own, 50,000, and we've still got our 3 scientists free to go do another expedition and get some more fossils. So let's send them out. And when these guys return in their little chopper, hopefully they'll have some better fossils and we can get a bit closer to 100% with the Majungasaurus DNA. Okay, these guys are returning now in the chopper. Very good. We've got some more fossils, and this fossil extraction is almost done. So we'll have them soon as well. And this is now done. Awesome. So we've extracted all the DNA. Let's see what the next fossils they just brought back were. Ah, cool. Oh, wow. We've got 3 amber. That's amazing. 3 mosquitoes. And we've also found iridium. Wow, $110,000. Okay, that's awesome. That's going to help us out. This should get us loads of the way there. That alone is 20%. I think we could even have the whole thing. I think this may be it. Let's assign our genetic scientist again to do this. And then I think that when we got onto the last one, that's going to be 100% of the genome. Now, you may have noticed when we were assigning them that one of these like bars gets filled in, and you can see these scientists have 2 bars filled in. That's because every time we assign a scientist to a task, they get a bar of like energy used up. And if this gets to full and we use them, the staff is going to be annoyed at us and they might sabotage the park, just like Dennis Nedry in the original film. So we don't want that to happen. Plus, the settings in the sandbox are like Jurassic levels of catastrophe that happen if the park does get sabotaged. So we really don't want that to happen. That is going to be terrible. I have no idea what they'll do. They might literally open every gate on every enclosure we have or something and just let the dinosaurs out. So what we want to do is go to the research tab, and in infrastructure we have a staff center. Now this building lets our staff replenish their bars down to 0. So that's kind of what we're going for. Let's do that instead of like catastrophe. If we get our faster expeditions and our cheaper expedition scientists, I think they can do a good job on this, and we can save our generalists who might be more useful later for different tasks. So these guys have enough skill to do that on their own. We can't do efficiency upgrades, although I would like to get this as well. This is going to help us out a lot. So I think when we've got this research, we should have a look at the efficiency upgrades research, because that means you can get like more fossils every time you do expeditions and things like that. It's real efficiency upgrades for the main staff buildings that do genuinely really help. So definitely something to get. Okay, they've finished the research. If we go to the operations tab, we can see we've got multiple staff buildings here. Cool. There's a few to choose from. I do like this one because it's kind of in keeping with the wooden theme we have for the other buildings. I do like that. But I think it's a bit weird with the water tower. So I'm wondering, maybe we go for like this one, because I still think that's reasonably in keeping. It's kind of wooden still. And it has a nice green roof. You know, that's quite cool. So let's put this at the back over here. And then our staff can go rest themselves up there if they want to. And we'll just connect this up to the rest of the park. Like that. There we go. Nice and connected up. And when that builds in, it will still be powered by the same backup generator. We do also really want to research proper power sources, because this is so expensive to run the park on backup power. Like, it's backup for a reason. It's not efficient by any means. But we've got a bit of time left on this one before we run out. And the more buildings we put within its radius, the quicker we'll burn through the fuel. Now, it looks like we've researched staff improvements, so that's good. And we finished the genetic extraction of the fossils. So let's do this last one. Where is this going to take us? Yes! So 84% we have now, plus another 16 from this extraction. That is 100% done. Let's get this scientist on it to finish that off. And then we've unlocked 100% of the genome. That is perfect. Maybe our other scientists should have a look at doing some other research. Like, we could get staff improvements, which will allow us to improve the skills of our scientists. That might be useful. Yeah, let's grab that. And then we should also grab the efficiency upgrade that I just spoke about before too. Let's go get all of these guys working on this so we can get some improvements to their skills and make them just basically better at their job. So instead of being logistics skill 2, we can make them logistics skill 3, which does really help when you're trying to get quite big dinosaurs. The Majungasaurus is quite a big one to open the park with, so I hope we haven't bitten off more than we can chew with this. I'm also thinking we need to build in the actual habitat now. So to do that, if we go to enclosures, we can put a hatchery in, and this building will let us incubate the eggs for our dinosaurs. I quite like this one. Let's use this. And I want the hatchery to be in the staff section of the park. Maybe have it about here. And then we can connect that up with a staff path as well. And then we need to build in our level 1 fences. And remember, we're only allowed these level 1 fences. So there's 2 different types. They only have strength 2, which is really not good. We've got one here and then another one here. We have to decide what style we're going with. I quite like the red, like, classic ones. I think this is the DPD one, which I'm not as keen on. So I think we're going to go for that style of fencing in our park. Let's go for the red one. And the other thing, before I put the fencing in, that I want to do is put in viewing galleries. Now, we seem to have unlocked the research outpost. That's odd. I don't think we should be able to use this yet. I feel like that's a little bit cheaty, because this is basically a dome, which is kind of a later game unlock, the dome viewing gallery. So I'm going to say we can't use that. We can only use the standard viewing galleries. And let's put them in. We can decide which ones we want, though. I'm thinking maybe we use these, like the Jurassic Parky ones, because guess they're going to arrive on the kind of thatched building from the helicopter. So it's quite cool to have some consistency throughout the park. I think this is a good way to go. So what we want to do is put these in so our guests have good view of the dinosaurs. And I think we want them at a reasonable distance from the path. Let's put them so like the arrow tip is just touching, and then we know that the same distance throughout the whole place. And this cone of like field of vision is where guests will be able to see. So I think that's probably good. I think 2 like that is probably pretty good. And let's connect this up with a standard path. And then we could probably do with making this a this all standard path along here. There we go. Now this does all need powering, and that's where our fences come in handy. So thankfully the electric fences, as long as part of it is touching power, everything touching the fence is powered, which is really helpful. So let's build in our fences now. Oh no, we just got a storm warning. Oh, maybe we don't want to build the fences in. What kind of storm is that gonna be? This is scary. It's like eerily quiet. It's not like a tornado, is it? Oh, it's raining a lot now. Oh no. Oh, that is loud. Okay. Oh my goodness. I think it's like a hurricane. Well, that's not good. That can definitely damage our fencing that we just built, as well as our hatchery. Look at the smoke from the hatchery being blown wildly. Okay, and we've started to receive structural damage. Awesome. Okay, our science center's down. So what we need to do is we need to build a ranger post, and then our ranger team can go and sort out problems like this. They can fix our buildings. So in the response facilities, I think that this one would be hilarious because it's got like that open dome shape. In the cold, I think that'd be too cruel to our team. Let's get this nice lookout tower one. And I'm going to whack this over here, I think. Like there. And these guys don't have power, so I think we need two backup power generators, but that's okay. We can put one in here. And that'll service both of these. And then it seems like the storm has stopped. That's good. Okay, cool. We can use our ranger teams to fix the science center. But for now, let's just quickly build in the fencing as I was doing before. I think that's probably good. I'm going to let that build in. And when that all connects, this viewing gallery is going to be powered as well. Now, our ranger team is in here, and look at our little jeeps. That's awesome. So if we click on our ranger's facility and we go to the jeep tab, we can actually change the skin of our jeeps to wherever we want. So we've got a few here. I think the worn one might be the funniest one. Seeing as this is literally a dangerous park with no safety, none of our machinery is working. Even our jeeps look like they're about to fall apart. And then I don't think we have a worn one for the helicopters. No, but we can keep it in the same theme. We'll use the Jurassic Park ones because they're pretty cool, aren't they? And this should now be working. So actually, if we get in our Jeep, let's go Ranger Team 1. Let's direct control them. We can drive around and fix the damage from the storm. So where we have a blue mechanic symbol, that means that it's only slightly damaged. I'm going to fix the backup generator. But I might leave the other buildings because they still function when that's on. It just means they're slightly damaged. Whereas you can see with the red one, this building is totaled. So I'm going to repair that. You can't use the building if it's red. Like, it's completely gone. Which obviously isn't ideal. I think I'm also going to go and fix the viewing facilities because we want to bring in some money to this park. And if our guests' viewing platforms aren't working properly, that's not good. The viewing galleries. Let's drive to the last one. The other fun thing I love about the Jeep is if you press H, you can beep the horn, which I love. And spacebar also lets you do handbrake turns, which can be useful from time to time. Like that. You can end up just donutting around your park, which is, you know, a pretty fun way to play. Probably not intended, but it's pretty fun. Seeing as we've unlocked 100% of this genome, let's go to Hatchery 1 and synthesize our first dinosaur. The Majungasaurus, let's modify their genome. I don't think we're going to be able to do much genetic manipulation right now, but we can do something. And we can at least choose the skin patterns. I think for the first batch, let's just do them be random. I do want to pick them so that we can get loads of different ones. But at the minute, we don't have any, so if we do a batch of all the same skin color, I only really want to keep one of them, whereas if we have them all be random for the first one, then we might get a few of different skin colors. Unfortunately, it looks like this dinosaur has quite a few negative traits, and we haven't unlocked the research to actually fix these, so that's not ideal. But it looks like we're getting a tiger biome penalty on the appetite as well. I don't know exactly what that means, but it doesn't sound good. The only thing we can influence is how long they live. But if we increase this, it will up the requirements of the dinosaur. So 25% chance gives us 6 still. But 50% chance we're into 7 genetic skill we need now. And the one on the left is how much we have in our entire team. It's slightly misleading though, because at the minute we can only use 3 scientists to genetically synthesize the eggs. So we may have 7 in the team, but that doesn't mean we can use all 7 at once to do it. And I think if we save and exit, if we have a look at our scientists in the scientist tab, yeah, we've got 3, 2, and 1. So these 3 scientists here, let's say, will be able to synthesize the eggs absolutely fine. But we're not going to be able to use our 4th scientist. And because we've unlocked the staff center, we've also unlocked slots for 2 new scientists, which is awesome. But right now, we do not have the money for them. So let's go back to synthesizing. I think I might just leave this as it is, because the other thing to consider is the more you influence this, the more expensive the dinosaur gets. So we can make them quite a lot cheaper, 42,000 cheaper, just to make them slightly less long-lived. That's fine with me. Let's assign our scientists to it. We're going to use these 3 and start the task. In a minute, we will have synthesized some Majungasaurus eggs. If we look in the same tab as well, we can see in the comfort tab how much the minimum population is. So we can only have 1. Like 1 is fine. So that's actually really good. If we don't have the bank for it, we can only have 1 of these dinosaurs and they'll live comfortably on their own. If that was 2, you'd obviously need to have 2 dinosaurs minimum, otherwise they wouldn't be happy in their habitat. It looks like they want 30% forest, 57% open space, half of a prey per dinosaur, so 1 prey feed is going to be enough for 2 of them, and then 7% rock, 5% water. Okay, we can make that work. As a rough guide before we put them in, let's get some forest in here. So I think it's good to have the forest at the back where the guests aren't seeing it anyway, are they? Let's sprinkle some forest in, but that's probably enough. They want mostly open space, don't they? And then they wanted a little bit of water, so I'm going to put a bit of water over here, I think. So they can have a little lake that the guests can watch them drink from. And maybe we'll have a little bit of water over here as well. You could even connect these up. I think that's quite cute. And then we can put some rock in. So you can either paint rock as a texture, or you can physically place the rock. I think we might do a little bit of both, just to make this kind of look a bit more natural. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We've got some rocks in there. We've got some forest, some open space, some water. What more could they want? Now, it looks like out of our batch size of 5, 4 of them are viable. So we have 4 to choose from. Ooh, this one's nocturnal. That's interesting. And fit. So if we had 2 dinosaurs, that might be good, because at all times, there would be a dinosaur available to view. And then unfortunately, the rest of them have some negative traits. So intelligent is the one that stands out. We do not want them to be intelligent if possible. They're going to constantly look for ways to break out and eat our guests. Whereas aggressive, oh, this one's nocturnal as well. I think we only actually want this one from this batch. So this is the only one. This is a lot of negative traits, with it being antisocial as well. And if it weren't nocturnal, I'd maybe consider it, but we don't just want 2 nocturnal dinosaurs. Let's maybe have a look at getting another batch, but it looked like we don't actually have the skill in the team right now to incubate the eggs. So if thankfully, we've done our little staff training. So our generalist here, if we train them, we can give them another point in welfare for 50,000. Let's confirm that. And then what else do we need? That's probably enough. That'll get us to 6. Other than that, I think we just need to rest up all of our scientists. So if we rest this scientist right now, it costs $75,000. These scientists just must be rolling in it, because if I'm giving you 75 grand, what, to go on holiday or something? Like, why are we paying for their insanely expensive holidays? You'd think you'd just be like, yeah, no, I got you a nice staff room, just go sit in it for a while. I didn't think I'd have to pay you. So if they're resting, these guys can all do one more job before they need to rest. So that's probably okay. We just need to wait for them to rest up, and then we do have 6. I think that's probably fine, and we only need 6 to do it. Maybe we could look at actually just synthesizing another one with these guys, getting another batch done. It is going to cost quite a lot of money, but I think we need to. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then when they've when they've synthesized the batch, we're going to rest all of them as well. And then we can actually get the dinosaurs in there. They've synthesized the batch, so let's rest up the scientists. This is expensive, but it is what it is. And let's wait for them to recover from resting. Okay, everyone's rested. Let's incubate. Let's see, actually, who have we got on this one? Antisocial and humble is not too bad. Aggressive, antisocial, humble, and fit. That's interesting. Ooh, okay. Our nocturnal one is... Maybe let's just get our nocturnal one to start. And let's incubate them. So we have the skill and team. It's 850,000 as well. So let's start them off. And then we can think about what we want from this one. Okay, our dinosaur's been raised to maturity. Let's release the first dinosaur into our park.
Fences and gates, enclosures. Want to know why I like them? Because it keeps them away from us.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to do much of that. So what they're doing now is they're going to walk around and expand their territory.
It's
and George Lambert's
like
going to interrupt me.
The Majungasaurus that can really be a handful. It's short, stocky, and lives for the hunt. This is also one of the only dinosaurs we know of that may have engaged in cannibalistic behavior. Nothing like having your friends over for dinner.
Well, that's terrifying. So if we go to their comfort tab, what we need to do is make them comfortable. And they're now exploring to see where they can get what they need. Now, I'm not sure we actually have any food to give them. Oh, we do. We have a live prey feeder where the goat can run around, where the goat could be on a chain, and just a carnivore feeder. I think we need to give them the live prey feeder, but I'm going to put this one out in front of our guest attraction here. Let's have it about here. It's just where the goat's going to be released from. Like that. And then there will be a prey feeder, but they do have to find it. So hopefully they're not just going to immediately try and break out. And they are. Okay. Let's capture them before they eat anyone. If we go to our helicopter, they just immediately beeline for the exit. They're like, nope, I don't want to be here. Right, let's try and dart them. Alright, it looks like 2 darts to bring this one down. There we go. And then we will transport them. Let's put them in front of the prey feeder so they can see it as well.
Heading to collect the asset.
And then we need to get our ranger team to fix the hole in the fence. There we go. Cool. Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get another one in here, just for our guests to actually have some appeal to bring them in. Because if we go to the control room, our park rating is low. I wonder why. We have no amenities either, which isn't helping us, but our appeal is 308, wow, when it's there, and 188 when it's out of view. So we could, obviously double our appeal straight away if we get 2 of them. I think we may just need to do that to actually get some interest. And we need to resupply the backup generators. That is really painful on the wallet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the research tab, I'm going to get our scientists to start researching power, because this is going to be a massive cost to us if we don't get it done. And then we have to work with the money we have. The good news is that guests have started to enter our park, so that is really positive. They just have to walk a fair bit to get to our first attraction, which maybe isn't the best layout that I've ever come up with. But, you know, they will get there. We'll bring the people in, and they'll be much more inclined to come in when our dinosaur is actually in the enclosure. So hopefully that will happen fairly soon. The other thing we need is we don't have any gates in this habitat, so our Jeep can't get inside. I like the classic gates. We've got two different types. We've got a gate like this, and then we've got the classic Jurassic Park gates. I like these, and I think I'm going to whack one of them here. So our Jeep can go through them like this into the enclosure, like straight away. And another great way to make money is if you press the F key, you can bring up cameras and your Jeep can take photos of your dinosaurs. And you get paid. You can sell these photos. Now, you can take a few of them, but you'll get penalties for repetition. So we got like half the amount there. You get another one with them roaring, get a little bit up, a little bit more.
Head of communications. You know what? I'll just let him do the talking, right?
Thanks for interrupting me there, Cabot.
That's a great photo. It's not just what you captured, but the way you did it. Very
Thank
impressive.
you. That doesn't sound condescending at all. Right, so we're getting a massive penalty now. That photo would be worth 21,500, but we're only getting 7,000. So you want to leave it periodically. And you can also get them to do things. Like if they're chasing a flare, for instance, if you shot a flare in and took a photo of them doing that, you'd get more money for showing them doing that behavior. Because it's different to what they were doing before. Like, chasing the flare is that, but we only get 4,000 because of the repetition. Equally, if you had 2 dinosaurs in there, you'd get a much bigger payout. So you have to, you know, it's a way to supplement your income in a small way. A great way, actually, is getting the Expedition Center to get fossils, too. Because they can be really lucrative. And another great way is to reduce your power consumption. So the research done now was going to let us build a power station. And this is so important. If we build a power station over here, we can now connect everything up with substations. And these are basically like the backup power generators, except it's much, much cheaper to run. So I'm going to put one of these here, which I believe still touches everything. And then I'm going to use pylons to connect up everything else. And again, we've got 2 types of pylon. I think I'm going to use the old style of pylon. But this way, we're basically running everything off of one power station rather than a bunch of backup power generators. And the backup power generators will keep, like, they'll stay there, but they just won't be used unless you have some problem with your power network, and then they'll switch on to be properly backup power. Just kind of what you want from them.
I want the dinosaurs comfortable. Do you?
How's our guy doing now? If we go to comfort, he's at 99%. He just needs a bit more forest. So keep exploring this way and you will find a lot more forest. That's fine. This is massive for him. I think we can have quite a few of them in here. Or we can reduce the size of this habitat. There we go, 100%. So they won't break out, basically. If they're comfort... Although we do have dinosaur breakout set to high, so that's going to be interesting. But if they're at 100% comfort, they have no need to leave. So they should be absolutely fine. We shouldn't get them escape or anything. And he's nocturnal, isn't he? So he's probably going to, put his head down for a nap. Annoyingly, he's out of view. So if we go on the management views, dinosaur visibility, he's out of view from our cones here, which is kind of irritating. It would be good if we had another one, perhaps over on this side. But I just feel like this isn't this isn't supernatural for where the park would be going right now. Like, we're kind of having guests along this way, aren't we? So when he does move back into view, we'll get a bit more money. And maybe we can coerce him by driving the ranger team. And using them as live bait. Why not? Oh, it's good to know they can drive through water. That's good. Oh, but not rocks. Yep, okay. My bad. My bad. Come on, let's wake up. Wake up. There he is. Now he's seen us. If he gets up, we need to run. Yeah, okay. Please don't eat us. Yep, no, I think he's going to. Yep, he's chasing us. I just want you to stay over here where people can see you. Please don't kill us. Okay, it's probably a good time for a flare right about now. Let's just go like that. There we go. Now we can get out of here. Drive towards the gate. And I'm going to let them stay out there. And hopefully he is now within visibility. He is. So, I mean, it's not an amazing view, but eventually he will walk over here and then they'll have a much better view. But this will massively improve our park appeal because we've now got 308. We've also got really bad guest comfort because we do need shelters and toilets. So if we're in the guest tab, we can see all the stuff that our guests need. And we do have a few different types of shelters. Now, these are by far the most aesthetic shelters. And I think we're going to go for that. And we should probably just put one over here by their paddock. Now, we can't have the shelter coverage be too high. That's one of the rules when we're building this. So I'm going to put one shelter in like the middle of this section. And then we should have pretty bad shelter coverage. Yeah, 29%. It's not allowed to be above 50. That's the rule. But that is something. And toilets we can do. Guests are allowed to go to the toilet. So, you know, we'll give them that one. I think we could, again, just use these little Jurassic Park ones because they're pretty cute. But annoyingly, the toilets are going to need power. So we need to extend our power network along this way. And then we can put some toilets in. Let's put one toilet over here. And one toilet in over here. And if we need one, we could even put one in. Yeah, let's put one in here too. That's more for our staff, though. I suppose our staff are going to have toilets in their buildings, aren't they? They shouldn't need a toilet. Let's maybe just turn one of these into a substation. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We might have to make this like a guest path, not a staff path. But that's okay. There we go. And that's like the end of the guest range. Alternatively, we could also put different types of toilets in for our staff. So maybe we do that a bit later, but have like something like this for our staff. That's like they look different from the guest ones. Maybe that's a good shout. Okay, our income is now rising. We're making money! Finally! Perfect. And it looks like the Majungasaurus is relatively happy. Oh, and he's going for a goat. It's our first feeding. Come on, you can get him. You can get him. Chase him down. Please don't run into the forest where we can't see you. Oh, he's running into the forest. Are we still going to get a good view of this? That's the real question. Following the goat. Following the goat. The goat is throwing in some zigs and zags. They want to stay alive. Oh, no. Okay. Well, he has some dinner now. Oh, he's not even going to eat it. He's just doing it for the thrill of the hunt. Oh, no, no, he is. He is going to eat it. Okay, fair enough. He's going for his snack. Very good. Well, he seems pretty settled in here. So now he's settled in, let's learn a little bit more about the Majungasaurus. The Majungasaurus is a carnivorous theropod from the late Cretaceous period and grew to around 9 meters in length, as well as being around 2.8 meters in height and weighing around 907 kilograms. As the apex predator of its era, it used its sharp teeth and powerful bite to tear flesh from its targets, and is one of the few dinosaurs known to have eaten members of its own genera. Although research hasn't confirmed whether this cannibalistic behavior took the form of hunting one another or simply scavenging on carcasses. Named after the location of its discovery in Mahajanga, Madagascar, Majungasaurus was discovered by an army officer in 1896 when he noticed a series of fossils along the Betsiboka River. Further, remains were unearthed throughout the 20th century, offering evidence that it was a new genus, and in 1955, French paleontologist René Lavocat officially named it Majungasaurus. This genus coexisted with many other animals on the island of Madagascar around 70 to 80 million years ago. Although as one of the last dinosaurs to exist, many of its neighbors were mammals, birds, and fish. It lived along the coast, preying upon sauropods such as Rapitosaurus. And that's probably enough progress for now. We're going to continue this park in the next video in the series. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you in the next one.